Nicolas Winding Refn is a Danish filmmaker known for his unique and often polarizing style. His films are characterized by striking visuals, minimalistic storytelling, and a focus on the darker aspects of human nature. Refn's breakthrough came with the Pusher trilogy, which delves into the Copenhagen underworld. These films explore the lives of criminals and their struggles and the consequences of their actions. Themes of desperation, loyalty, and a cycle of violence are prevalent. Bronson in 2008 told the story of Britain's most notorious prisoner, Charles Bronson. Refn explores the concept of identity and the idea of an individual creating a larger-than-life persona as a means of self-expression. 2011's Drive is a neo-noir crime drama and is one of Refn's most acclaimed works. It focuses on a stuntman who moonlights as a getaway driver, played by Ryan Gosling. The film blends violence with an 80s-inspired synth soundtrack and examines themes of isolation, morality, and the consequences of criminality. In 2013 came Only God Forgives. The film, set in the criminal underworld of Bangkok, is known for its intense and visceral visual style. It deals with themes of redemption, revenge, and the darkness that can consume individuals. 2016's The Neon Demon is a visually stunning psychological horror that explores the fashion industry and its obsession with beauty and youth. Refn critiques the shallow and cutthroat nature of this world, touching on themes of narcissism and the commodification of beauty. Refn's venture into television came in 2019 with Too Old to Die Young. This series continues his exploration of the criminal underbelly of Los Angeles. It delves into morally bereft characters and the consequences of their actions, along with a slow-burning, contemplative narrative. His films feature morally complex characters and explore the gritty and violent aspects of society. He places a strong emphasis on style, with a focus on visual and auditory elements, making his work a distinct and polarizing presence in contemporary cinema. His films tend to be a reflection on the dark and often disturbing aspects of human nature, and they provoke strong reactions from audiences and critics alike. His color grading choices in his films are a defining characteristic of his unique visual style. He often collaborates with cinematographers to create striking and bold palettes to contribute to the mood and atmosphere of his stories. Refn frequently uses vibrant and saturated colors to create a visually arresting and surreal atmosphere. This is evident in Drive, with its neon-lit streets, and The Neon Demon, which features intense and surreal color schemes that enhance the film's dreamlike quality. In some scenes, Refn opts for monochromatic color grading, focusing on a single color to evoke a specific emotion or tone. For example, he uses a lot of red in Only God Forgives to emphasize violence and anger, and in Bronson he employs a muted sepia-toned palette to emphasize the film's historical aspects. Refn often plays with high contrast and deep shadows, creating a stark visual style. The interplay between light and shadow adds depth to his compositions and intensifies the emotional impact of the scenes. In certain instances, Refn simplifies his color grading, using a limited color palette or abstract color choices to emphasize the emotional and psychological aspects of his characters. This can be seen in Too Old to Die Young, where scenes are often dominated by a single color to convey a sense of foreboding or isolation. Neon lighting is a recurring element in Refn's films, contributing to their iconic look. It not only adds a sense of stylized beauty, but also represents the underbelly of urban environments, creating a visual metaphor for the darker themes of his work. His color grading choices are often subtly modulated to reflect character development and narrative progression. This can be seen in Drive, where color temperature shifts subtly as the protagonist's emotions and relationships evolve. Refn is actually colorblind, which makes his distinctive and unconventional use of color grading in his films even more remarkable. Despite his color vision deficiency, he has a remarkable ability to collaborate with cinematographers to create visually striking palettes. His color choices transcend the limitations of his own perception to create visually captivating and thematically rich films. His color grading choices are a critical aspect of his storytelling. They serve to enhance the mood, atmosphere, and thematic elements of his films, contributing to his reputation as a filmmaker with a distinct and visually arresting style. His bold use of color, along with his innovative approach to cinematography, helps create a unique and immersive cinematic experience in his work. Refn's music score choices, particularly his affinity for electronic music, play a significant role in shaping the atmosphere and emotional impact of his films. He often employs electronic and synth-driven soundtracks to create a distinctive auditory experience in his films. This choice is especially evident in Drive, where his soundtrack by Cliff Martinez features a blend of electronic, ambient, and retro synth music. The music in Drive not only complements the film's visual style, but also enhances its emotional depth and tension. Refn frequently collaborates collaborates with composers who have expertise in electronic and ambient music, and in Only God Forgives he worked with Cliff Martinez once again, and in The Neon Demon they collaborated to create a hypnotic and ethereal soundscape that mirrors the film's surreal and disturbing themes. Refn often uses repetition in his soundtracks to create a hypnotic effect. His films often feature ambient and dreamlike musical elements that contribute to their surreal quality. Martinez uses long, lush, slow, reverb-soaked and pulsating chord progressions with lively or high-frequency arpeggios sitting on top to create the melodic phrases. He utilizes music to create contrast in these films. In Drive, the juxtaposition of the calm electronic tracks with moments of intense violence and action amplifies the emotional impact of those scenes. The music in Refn's films is not just background noise. It often serves as a narrative device, and it conveys the emotional states of characters and reflects the evolving mood of the story. His use of electronic music in these films is an integral part of his unique visual and auditory style. His collaborations with composers and a careful selection of electronic music and synth-driven soundtracks contribute to the immersive and emotional impact of his work. The term neon noir is often associated with directors like Winding Refn, and a particular style of filmmaking that blends elements of film noir and neon-lit aesthetics. Neon noir films are characterized by their striking visual style. They often feature dark, shadowy settings illuminated by neon lights, which create a visually compelling contrast between light and dark. These films embrace the use of bold, vibrant colours, especially neon hues, which contribute to the dreamlike and hyper-realistic quality of the visuals. The visual elements in neon noir are used to convey the psychological and emotional states of the characters, adding depth and complexity to the narrative. Neon noir films typically explore themes common to traditional film noir, such as crime, questionable morality, alienation, and existential crises. However, they often place these themes in contemporary or hyper-stylized settings. Characters in neon noir films often find themselves trapped in a morally grey world, dealing with crime, violence, and a sense of disillusionment. The narrative structures in these films may be non-linear or dreamlike, unlike traditional storytelling conventions. Nicolas Winding Refn's films, particularly Drive and The Neon Demon, are often considered quintessential examples of neon noir. He embraces the neon aesthetic and uses it to create a distinct and surreal atmosphere. His work features nefarious characters, stark violence, and an exploration of darker aspects of human nature, all within the neon-lit backdrop of modern urban environments. Directors like David Lynch in Twin Peaks and Mulholland Drive, and Michael Mann with Thief and Collateral have also explored neo-noir aesthetics and themes in their work. Lynch's dreamlike narratives and use of surreal visuals, often accompanied by Angelo Badalamenti's evocative score, create a unique blend of noir and neon. Mann, in films like Collateral, uses the urban, neon-lit Los Angeles landscape to intensify the tension and atmosphere, echoing classic noir while infusing a modern sensibility. Neon noir is a subgenre of filmmaking that combines the stylistic elements of film noir with the vibrant neon-lit visuals of modern urban settings. Nicolas Winding Refn, along with other directors like David Lynch and Michael Mann, have contributed to this subgenre by creating visually captivating, emotionally charged films that explore dark and morally complex themes in contemporary and stylized context. Violence and depravity are recurring themes in Nicolas Winding Refn's films. His work often delves into the darker aspects of human nature and explores the consequences of brutal and morally flawed actions. Refn's films are known for their graphic and unflinching portrayal of violence. He often uses violence as a means to shock and disturb the audience, highlighting its brutal and destructive nature. In Drive and Only God Forgives, for example, the violent scenes are intense and confrontational. His characters often inhabit morally questionable worlds where violence and depravity are pervasive. His protagonists are frequently anti-heroes who engage in criminal activities or morally questionable actions. This amorality challenges the audience's perceptions of right and wrong, blurring the line between hero and villain. Refn's films often delve into psychological motivations behind the acts of violence and depravity. He examines the factors that drive characters to commit heinous acts, whether it's a desire for power, revenge, or self-preservation. This exploration adds depth to his characters and narrative. Many of Refn's films explore the dehumanizing aspects of violence and depravity. Characters become trapped in cycles of brutality, and their actions lead to a loss of humanity and empathy. This dehumanization is often a central theme, particularly in Only God Forgives. In some of his films, violence is portrayed as a form of catharsis or release for the characters. It becomes a means of coping with the harsh realities of their lives. This is evident in the character arcs of protagonists in Drive and Bronson. Refn is known for aesthetically framing violent scenes in a way that contrasts the brutality with visually striking and stylized cinematography. This juxtaposition between the beauty of the visuals and the horror of the violence is a signature aspect of his filmmaking. Many of his characters exhibit obsession and hubris, which drive them to commit extreme acts acts of violence. These themes are explored in films like The Neon Demon, where the fashion industry serves as a backdrop for a character's descent into madness. It is important to note that Refn's use of violence and depravity in his films is intended to provoke discussion and challenge the audience's sensibilities. His films are not for the faint of heart, and they often elicit strong reactions. While some view his approach as gratuitous, others see it as a way to explore the darker aspects of human existence and the moral complexities of his characters' journeys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, hit the bell icon for updates, and I'll see you in the next one.